It has a natural taste that is so much better than that synthetic food. And with the synthetic, the salt, oil, and sugar, and everything, the corporations, 95% of the food in the supermarkets called processed food was made by the scientists and the doctors. They sit there all day long trying to figure it out. So I started to see the truth in the situation. I was awakening to the idea that I don't want this poison in my body. That's what salt, oil, and sugar, all the calories are in that. And I want wholesome, natural things. So, and also after a while, my palate started to change and my emotion towards the food started to change. And I started to get so much pleasure out of natural, wholesome food that I didn't even want that synthetic stuff anymore. But it came through being centered and working these steps of spiritual awakening. When I realized step one, I had to let go of all of it. I couldn't control it. But everything I did till then didn't work. And you know, everybody here knows 95% of the stuff we tried didn't work because I was trying to control it. I was saying, this food is so great, I really want it. And I was giving it power and trying to push it away and restricting it. I was miserable every day. But the psychic changed when I got centered, relaxed, through prayer, meditation, focused in and really knew the truth will set you free, the truth from the false.
If you liked the video so far, press the like and subscribe button.
It says in here. And when I realized the truth was a natural high in relation to drugs and alcohol, felt 10 million times better, couldn't even compare to the natural high and feeling when I ate wholesome natural foods and not things man-made. You know, to go back, 30, 40 years ago or more, people in this country here in the United States were 30, 40 pounds lighter because they had wholesome natural foods. Didn't have all this synthetic garbage. It's really poison. If you look on ingredients in a package, I have like 50 ingredients. When I eat something, I'm on a whole food plant-based diet, and I eat it's only one ingredient. But I'm not telling anybody if you want to eat whatever kind of diet, if a keto, whatever diet you're on, the problem we can all agree on, it's the processed foods that are causing the problem. Come to our free Zoom meeting, see info in description. Now back to our video. And the processed foods come from the falseness in our brain created by, we were brainwashed, but we could wash our brains by doing these 12 steps and seeing life as it really is in all our situations, realizing the beauty in everything in nature. I call it spiritual bread. Waking up and not being obsessed all day with food, but obsessed all day about the beauty in nature and people around us, and feeling this joy from within and the spiritual awakening. And then realizing the falseness. When people try to get us upset, that's false. When these things in life happen, the negative, we can think in positive ways. The same with the food. Realize that when the food calls us, the falseness of it. We can feel the emotion, but we don't have to become the emotion. Just like resentfulness or anger. We don't have to become it. We can observe it and just observe from the distance. The topic is intuitive eating. Now this, to me, it's so amazing that the fact that we really can intuitively eat. The way we do it with diets and everything is just the opposite. And 95% of diets don't work because everything we try to control, going to the steps, it's a 12-step program, and it says step one, we're powerless. So we keep on trying to get the control, keeps on not working. But in our book, in the literature here, it talks about intuitive. We'll be able to intuitively. And if we start from the very beginning, the big book where it talks in the doctor's opinion, it says on page 27, Roman numeral 27, about the third paragraph down, we doctors have realized for a long time that some form of moral psychology was of urgent importance to alcoholics, but its application presented difficulties beyond our conception. And it goes on to say, with our ultra-modern standards, our scientific approach to everything, we are perhaps not well equipped to apply the powers of good that lie outside our synthetic knowledge. So when they speak here about our ultra-modern standards, our scientific approach, to me that speaks about, again, trying to figure it out. And it could be dieting, and also along with dieting are all the things that we've done, right? The scientific approach was what? Taking pills in order to die. It was sometimes stomach surgery. All the things that we've done till now haven't worked. It's called synthetic knowledge. And also the fact when we try to figure it out, step one says we're powerless over food. In AA, it's alcohol, but we could put anything in there. We're powerless over everything because our self-will can't do it. And just like we know with the dietings.
If you liked the video so far, press the like and subscribe button.
I went on 1,000 diets, right? It just, it's easy to go on them, as they say, but I've been on 1,000 of them. So, but we want to stay, and it's called like a design for living. get that through intuition. In a way, if we go on to look on page XXIX, that's Roman numeral 29, in the doc's opinion, it says, unless a person can have an entire psychic change, there's little hope of his recovery. So the diets weren't any kind of psychic change. It was still trying to control it. I always wanted that excess food. I always wanted whatever it was that I was trying to resist. We resist something, we give it power. But here it's saying, unless there's an entire psychic change. Once a psychic change has occurred, this very same person who was seemed doomed, who had so many problems he despaired of ever solving, then suddenly finds himself easily able to control his desire. And it says here, for alcohol, for food. If we go on, let's have a few things that I want to read here from the big book, where it talks about, okay, here it is in We Agnostics on the bottom page 44. It directly tells us here, if a mere code of morals or better philosophy of life was sufficient to overcome alcoholism, but it could be food addiction, and again, it could be a compulsion towards food. Some people restrict it, some people, of course, overeat. Overcome food addiction, many of us would have recovered long ago, but we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us no matter how much we tried. We could wish to be moral, we could wish to be philosophically comforted, and wish we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. So everything I tried, trying to control it, everything I've done as far as related to dieting and trying to control the situation didn't work. And also to reinforce this, we sometimes read from what's called the Overeaters Anonymous 12 and 12. It's the 12 steps and 12 traditions for Overeaters Anonymous. OA has one too. But on page 10, then horrified by what we were doing to ourselves with food, we became obsessed with diets. We spent lots of money on weight loss schemes. We bought all sorts of appetite suppressants. We joined diet clubs and fitness centers. We had ourselves hypnotized, analyzed. We had major surgery on our digestive systems. We had our ears stapled, our jaws wired shut. So it's saying we tried all of these things, and as you know, most people here know it didn't work. Temporarily, it did. I was on a very strict, called the gray sheet diet. I was on it for a year. I lost all the weight. I got to my goal weight, but I was miserable every day. But that day finally came because I didn't have the psychic change it talks about. We need a spiritual awakening. It's 12 steps, 12 step, having had a spiritual awakening. Step 1 again says we're powerless over the situation. Step 2 said we had to be restored to sanity. So my trying to control it through a diet or trying to restrict or whatever I was doing was not a better philosophy. It didn't change. I just was resisting, and what we resist the most, we give it more power. But step 3 tells us we can give our will and our life over to the care of our higher consciousness, spirituality, God of our understanding.
If you liked the video so far, press the like and subscribe button.
Come to our free Zoom meeting. See info in description. Now back to our video. Because, see, God created us to have this hypothalamus and also the receptors in our stomach to understand when when we've had enough. But what we did is when we did it through self-will, we got in the way of this, called self-centered fear. Just like everything else in our life, we try to approach a situation and we're fearful, we're paralyzed by fear. We can't dealing with people, work, whatever everyday things we deal with. Same with our dieting. When we're trying to control and we're in fear of it and we're saying, I really want all of this, but I got to resist it. Same like being resentful, angry towards somebody. You're saying, I'm really angry, resentful towards somebody. So we need that psychic change, which we talk about many times here, loving kindness and towards all. So it goes on to say on page 45, lack of power. That was our dilemma. That's step 1. We had to find a power greater in ourselves which we could live. It had to be a power greater in ourselves. And the object of this book is to find a power greater in yourself which will solve your problem. So the 12 steps, again, is a way, sometimes I call it my diet program, the 12 steps. It's that intuitive knowledge. To really cap this whole thing off and realize that it goes in this direction through this program, if we go right from here into the promises, and on page 83, they're called the 9th and 10-step promises. And on page 83, it starts in 9-step promises. And it says, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we'll be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and new happiness. So I was a slave. I was making food my higher power. I was a slave. It could be drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, people. We talk about everything here. I was going to go know a new freedom, a new happiness. I will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We comprehend the word serenity and no peace. A few more sentences down. And here's the key here. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. We suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. So we needed that intuition, which we lost. We lost through the self-will. We decided through intellect that we listened to the corporations' commercials on TV that we would have this food. We made a higher power